Human beings are now in such a state of like hyper complexity where everything is integrated, everything is connected, that there is no individuality, there is no original thought. You become an amalgamation of everything that you've heard and been exposed to, but you really do nothing. Because everything is designed today to keep you from knowing what you are. You are the energy source that feeds your own demise. Social media doesn't exist if you're not there. Everything is designed to fulfill these physical desires. So you give your energy to feed your own destruction, and then you complain about the very thing that you're feeding. When it's always you. You're the one. It's not there if you're not there. You feed it. You are feeding, and you are arming your own captors.
We're living in a world where the best way to warn about the dangers of social media is social media. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudetsky here of WeAreChange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy news to get into today, especially coming from Buffalo, New York, which we're going to be talking about extensively. Lots of information coming to light that should be worrying for everyone, especially with the over-politicization of this very sad event that just unfolded a few hours ago. Lots to discuss there, plus all the other latest divide and conquer news, including, of course, pregnant men that we're going to be talking about in this broadcast, plus a lot more. But before we do, the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is by the extremely talented Samuel Rivera. We played a small clip of his latest video. If you want to watch his latest video, we, of course, will be linking his channel down in the description below. And he does really incredible compilations that are definitely worth a watch. I subscribe to his channel. I got the alerts on. You should, too, since, of course, his latest piece on social media is very thought-provoking and something that we should be having a national discussion on right now, especially when it comes to the larger impacts of social media on our everyday lives. We're living in a crazy world that only gets crazier because of big tech social media, which of course could be disrupted by Elon Musk with his recent purchase of Twitter, which now is on hold. It's the Twitter deal between Elon Musk and its current owners is halted, stopped, and paused as people are trying to ascertain how many fake or spam accounts are on the big tech social media platform that Elon Musk will be acquiring. Elon Musk says that Twitter needs to have less than 5% of its users to be fake in order to go along with the estimates of how much the company is valued. Since, of course, if the whole company is filled with fake users and it doesn't have actual users, then the value of that company will go down. And you, someone on the internet, should know that many powerful governments, corporations, banks, and other powerful entities use fake accounts in order to shape perception, reality, through, of course, social media to give a fake perspective that's not really there. On a low level, celebrities use this in order to have fake people like and follow their accounts so they could look more popular than they really are. And in the high level of bot use, we, of course, have government pushing, promoting propaganda, countering it, destroying narratives and dialogues and conversations in order to push for war, destruction, and, of course, the end of life. Either way, Elon Musk is trying to find out how many of these accounts are real, how many of them are fake. Twitter is now accusing Elon Musk of violating his NDA, his non-disclosure agreement, as of course, if this deal between Elon Musk and Twitter does not go through, the company liable, the party liable for this not happening will be billed $1 billion as a penalty for failing to proceed with the deal. The former president of the United States, Donald Trump, even decided to chime in on this particular topic, saying specifically that Elon Musk will not be buying Twitter because, quote, Twitter has so many fake accounts with the bots, which Trump cited to cause a lot of problems. Is the former president of the United States right here? Well, we're going to see how this situation unfolds as we're going to be paying close attention to it. And you should know, just because you see a lot of likes and even sometimes comments in favor of a particular idea, it doesn't always equate to what actually is the reality of the situation. And just because online you see an overwhelming support of an idea does not mean that that idea is actually popular, but by faking that perception administration. It lets people go along with it, which some argue pushes woke, destructive societal norms, which Elon Musk has made a public stance against, and his acquisition of Twitter represents the larger return to reality and away from the squeegee clean Goldman Sachs, Disney, SJW corporatist view, overall representatively speaking, which, very interestingly, Netflix decided to participate in this larger culture war, as some people have called it, as recently we're finding out that Netflix told their staff that they should leave if they are offended by the content on their platform, specifically sending out a company-wide culture memo document that is telling their employees that if they feel offended or hurt by any of the content that Netflix puts out there, that they could just quit the job right then and there. This, of course, is sending out a very strong message, as some people are speculating that Netflix is doing this mainly because they have some really bad earning numbers recently and will need to lay off staff anyway. So why not just have some of them fire themselves, cancel themselves? This as other companies like Calvin Klein are deciding to do the opposite of what Netflix just did, as they just prominently promoted a pregnant trans man as their latest star for a recent Mother's Day advertisement. This, of course, is a big topic of discussion. A lot of people are hooting and hollering over this, and whatever you may think about this Calvin Klein star, this wokeness becomes dangerous for everyone, especially when governments get involved and they literally start punishing 13-year-olds for not gendering and calling classmates by their preferred pronouns. This as we're finding out that a Wisconsin school district has launched an official complaint because a 13-year-old used the wrong words while another student wanted them to use a word of their choice. This is, of course, similar situations that have already unfolded in the United Kingdom, where people are literally hauled off to jail for saying the word bloke in passing in not even a serious way. Seeing these kind of speech laws be implemented here in the United States should be worrying, as I think it's fair to say that left-wing politicians are becoming more and more extreme with their point of views, as the mayor of New York City just publicly said that he supports a woman's right to terminate her baby up until the day of birth. This as the current administration in the White House is literally using taxpayer funds to give out free crack pipes during a baby formula shortage, which of course this administration, along with the corporate media, said didn't exist at first. It wasn't happening. There was no crack pipes according to CNN, and now we're finding out, yes, there's crack pipe. And as the corporate media is too busy lying, shilling, and celebrating this administration for things that they had no control of, for things that they were simply born with, as The Guardian released a very eye-opening, bootlicking piece celebrating the new White House press secretary because of the way that she was born and her preference for partners. Her partner, by the way, works at CNN, which essentially does the larger shilling for this administration, doesn't hold them accountable, even though they wield an extraordinary amount of power and routinely abuse it. They take away baby formulas for you, literally hand you a crack pipe. CNN says, there's no crack pipe, doesn't exist. Oh, look, a person was born a certain way and likes to do things privately in their bedroom in a certain way. Haha, that's literally the current situation that we're dealing with right now, which is absolutely absurd. And I personally choose to highlight that absurdity with my t-shirts, as of course I have a t-shirt company called thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We just released, by the way, a new t-shirt that says "Your Body, My Choice," prominently featuring Reverend Dr. Fauci on there, highlighting the larger hypocrisies with the national discourse that's happening right now. We also have our favorite Free as a Bird Elon Musk shirt and a lot of other ones that we can't even show you here on this particular platform. If you want to see the full eye-opening plethora of thought-provoking shirts, you have to go to thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and truly, this is the best way to do lazy activism. This is the best way to get engaged in your local communities, at your local stores, to meet like-minded individuals, to make new friends, to find out who the Kyles and Karens are out there in society, as of course many times when I wear the shirts like I'm wearing right now, which you could get on our website, you either get a thumb of support, high fives, compliments, or some really nasty little side looks from crazy people who already have the crazy eyes that get a lot crazier when they see the shirts on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And I believe in this messaging. I believe in this product because it is a way to culture jam, to start conversations, and to express ideas that can never be censored just by simply wearing a cloth. Again, we got a lot of shirts. My closet is filled with them. Pillows, masks, phone cases, you name it. We got it all exclusively on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Click the link down in the description below, just so you could scroll through the items that we cannot even show you here on this platform. Now, of course, when it comes to violence and the call for violence, we, of course, here as an independent media organization have zero tolerance for it, have always called for those really bad ideas to be countered with good ideas. We have always argued the people that turn to violence are the first people to lose, as we have been a huge supporter of the non-aggression principle, and truly acting aggressive and hurting another human being because of the way they look or their ideas or their identity is one of the stupidest ideas that there ever exist in mainline society. And when it comes to these highly emotional events that happen, I think the best thing you could do is to try to rationally have an honest and real discussion about them in order to try to prevent future events from happening. And the recent events that happened in Milwaukee, where 21 people were shot on 3 separate shooting events. Oh wait, sorry, the corporate media is not talking about this particular event. The recent violence in Chicago, where just over this weekend, 28 people were shot. Oh wait, the corporate media is not talking about this. They, of course, are talking about the events that unfolded in Orlando, which, again, just as tragic, just as horrible as the ones happening in, of course, Chicago, in Milwaukee. Any loss of life is a tragedy and, of course, needs to be called out no matter what happened here. But there's a lot more attention than usual on the events that unfolded in Buffalo, and that's why I think they're worth talking about. As, of course, an 18-year-old man, now we find out, planned an attack that was motivated by some really disturbing political ideas. This, as we're finding out today, that the man responsible for this, Peyton Gendern, was known to the authorities, was known as a troubled child, was sent for mental health treatment, and a lot of people are speculating right now was known not just to the local authorities, but also to the federal ones, which is leaving some people asking some questions about this particular event. Now, I think it's important not to jump to conclusions here. We still have to wait to find out all the details before they do come out. These are just some early preliminary reports from the Associated Press that talked about his troubled past, how law enforcement knew him, and while we wait to find out all the details here, there's a lot of other people jumping on the bandwagon because of the optics here and using this tragedy for their own political purposes and trying to push, of course, their agenda here. Now, we have to understand that this happens in both political spectrums. The left wing and right wing are just as responsible for this. But for people to take to Twitter as this is unfolding and to blame media personalities like Tucker Carlson for this is absolutely absurd. Twitter's manually curated promotion of this particular story was trending with Tucker Carlson as people took to the internet, didn't even wait to find out what really happened here, and are blaming everything from Gatorgate to TV personalities to YouTubers, as some politicians, like the replaced temporary governor of New York, are calling for social media companies like Twitch to pay the price of what happened today, as of course the events in Buffalo were live streamed on Twitch, which according to the governor of New York somehow makes Twitch responsible, and she's trying to put forward legislation, rules, and laws that of course will give her and the government more power over big tech social media and what they could show you. Greedy politicians who want power know no bounds, and in my opinion are absolutely disrespecting the lives lost here, as of course they're making this all about themselves. They're making this about the power that they want. All the while, the bodies were still not even cold here. Now, the sick, twisted individual that committed this act in Buffalo and broadcasted on Twitch also released a document online, which anyone could read. And in his own words, he criticized Fox News, which Tucker Carlson was on, admittedly saw himself on the political spectrum as an authoritarian leftist who would, quote, prefer to be called a populist, as of course he dribbled on in his manifesto about the rejection of Christianity, talked about how he was a green nationalist, and from a lot of people understandings of this particular writing, he was a communist turned racist who seemed to be motivated to be against black people and immigrants because they were getting government handouts, which he believed were rightfully supposed to belong to him somehow. He also, of course, used symbols and prominently promoted them like the Azov Battalion uses, which is linked to, of course, a racist ideology. He wrote the names of the Waukesha Christmas event victims on his weapon that he used during this incident, and I think it goes without saying here that what happened here is an absolute tragedy. And as a lot of people try to play politics like hot potato, trying to throw this troubled young man into their political camp in order to blame them from all of this, in order to gain more power from all of this, we still have to understand that a lot of this is probably linked to, of course, the larger mental health crisis in this country that's only being exacerbated and expanded dramatically within the last few years, and of course is only expected to get worse from here. That again is just my kind of overall immediate assessment here. Is it correct? Could be not. We are still waiting to find out a lot of the details here, a lot of the information. It's important not to just jump to conclusions. There's a lot of things that could be faked. There's a lot of things that could be altered. There's a lot of disinformation out there. There's a lot of propaganda out there. And if I could just send one overall message around this particular event is that, could we just wait to find out what happened here before trying to use the deaths of innocent human beings for a political agenda? Could we maybe have some respect for the people lost here? I think if anything, during these types of events, we should be focusing on the victims, remembering them, respecting them, if truly we want to try to prevent future events like this from unfolding. And I think because of the hyper-politicization of everything, because of the radicalization of our current political spectrum, which some people say is done because of the echo chambers, because of the circle... family-friendly show here. Put it simply, one side thinking the other side is as bad, so they need to be just as bad or even worse off to defeat them, is an absolutely stupid idea that I don't believe in. And if you agree with that assessment, share this video with your friends and family members. If you disagree with it, let me know why down in the comment section below. I try to have an open mind as best as I can. I love listening to outside-of-the-box ideas, perspectives, and things that I would have never seen or heard if it wasn't for you guys interacting, caring about this show, and caring about providing the accurate, right information for me to be able to quantify. And this is why I love you guys so much. Buying t-shirts supports us, keeps us here, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.